trying to pick films. It was Piggy.
Oh my God! I saw the photo that accompany that we saw. Usually we only get like 1 or 2 photos. Shocking. So I'm really curious what this is about.
And that is what I think it was our first conversation. Alan was saying how he goes about picking sometimes at a film festival of just based on that photo alone. And that's exactly what I did with here. It just had this this heavy look to it of like this the gravitas to it. And she almost looked like Leatherface, standing in the middle of the road, at all bloodied and everything. So yes. And she would be, her name is Laura Galán, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a Spanish film. She plays Sarah, who is an overweight teen, lives with her family in this small villa in Spain. The family owns a butcher shop, which of course adds to the constant bullying she receives from her peers. She decides to, every now and then, she just wants to escape the summer heat, and she goes to the local swimming hole and swim when no one else is there. So she did this one time, and these 3 girls who are persistent bullies had come back and not only started to shout things at her and degrade her, but also, we're playing pranks on her that almost caused her to drown. And they took her clothes. So she had to get up out of this swimming hole and walk through town in her bikini, causing all these more catcalls and the townsfolk yelling these degrading things to her. And she just had such shame about her just even walking through town. But as she's walking back to her house, she notices a white van that was driven by a man who we had seen in various scenes of the film, but heretofore from her, she's been unseen. And in this white van, the windows are kind of, there's cardboarded up, but through the back of it, she sees the hand of one of her tormentors, a bloodied hand, and she's yelling for her to please help her, please help her. And then the van drives away. And before he does, he drops off her clothes to her at the end of the drive and then pulls away. So that is based on a Cerdida, I think is the name of the short on which it is based, from the same director. That is where the short ends. And this film picks it up from there and tells the rest of her story. And it is a fascinating story. It is, first and foremost, she is in almost every frame and is phenomenal. I mean, she gives such a raw, fearless performance that I can't wait to see what she does next. She's amazing. But they also, the director, who I'm blanking on the name right now, but
Carlota.
I'll get it. But she layers this with not just not just with fat shaming and but also the perspective of justice and of I don't know, feeling as though, what is the of this victim and her victim / savior. He's the oppressor versus the savior. They have this kind of unspoken bond between them, because he's not there to hurt her. He doesn't want to cause her any harm. And yet he's doing all these atrocious things around the town. And she's trying to grapple with it, because it is those very same tormentors that are receiving their comeuppance. So there's this kind of, she has to grapple with her own sense of pride and of appreciation, but yet shame at the same time. And they really delve into that too. And it's a fascinating kind of, dismantling of it, because I started to think about, and I wrote this in my review, I started to think about all the horror films that I've watched and grew up with, and how weight was a factor in it. And I think back from like Friday the 13th part 3 with Shelley in there, and he was an object of mockery. And then you think of Catherine in Silence of the Lambs, who Buffalo Bill had targeted at the beginning of that. And then you see on the opposite end where weight was used as as an image of the oppressors, of like the antagonists, like Leatherface, like was mentioned before in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Eddie's mom in It, and how this kind of dismantles it and takes a look at it and from all sides, and it's a very nuanced approach to it. But it does work as a straight-on horror too. She does such a phenomenal job. Carlota Pereda is the director. She does a great job with this town, this villa in Spain, where she plays with the light and the darkness in there. And it's sunny and idyllic one day, and then in the evening, there's just, I mean, it's just this dark pall that's cast over the entire area, and this mounting dread. And it's awesome. It's a great midnight movie. It's up there with like Hatching as a surefire midnight movie, but it also has a lot to say.
I mean, I love indie horror. This isn't a horror film from your description that's you would put in the category of like a Scream movie.
No.
It's 100% not that, but
I find too much on its mind for that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like indie horror, really grapples a lot with ideas and psychological horror, which makes it even more frightening. So
yeah. It is. I mean, this causes you to kind of rethink a lot of things, especially but within the horror genre, which is a genre I absolutely love. And it kind of gives it like a reckoning almost, which just fantastic.